It seemed like the game slowed down for you after the first quarter. Is that credit to Marquette, something you didn't like you did, or how did you see it?
Um, I saw it as a tough defensive game by both teams. You know, I saw it as a really tough defensive game. There weren't a lot of opportunities to run. I thought Marquette did a pretty good job of getting back in transition. We got 18 offensive rebounds. They got 7, so they weren't really making an attempt to go offensive rebound. So they made it a half-court game, and we weren't able to push the tempo as much as we would like. And we couldn't speed them up because we didn't make any shots either. So it just became one of those March defensive slogs.
I was going to follow with that. It was, that kind of grind, and that's the kind of game you tend to get, later on this month. So was that good for you to experience it?
I believe so. We talked about that with our team, that at this time of the year, you would love it to be everybody comes down, wide open threes, you knock them in. Isn't that great? But the reality of the situation is that's generally not how the games are played. Now, there's been times when we made them look like that. We made them look real easy. And we've been able to get up and down the floor easy at this time of the year. I think most teams right now, this particular year, whatever the case may be, are tired. I think most teams this year, by now, are tired. And everybody can use this week off. Everybody needs a break this week.
Charlotte?
Aaliyah, when she entered the game and the score was, or Marquette had narrowed within single digits, she really was a force. What did you see from her? And I guess Olivia as well, as they dominated the paint today.
The same thing everybody else saw. I wasn't watching a different game than anybody else was watching. How many games is this in a row now where Olivia goes after every rebound? She works her butt off in there. She's gotten really good at finishing. Her 3 steals, she's active defensively. If anything, I don't think Aaliyah is getting enough credit for how much she's doing for our team right now. I thought in the second half, Olivia and Aaliyah carried the team. And that's, we said at halftime, somebody's going to have to step up and make some plays and do something other than, clap for Paige to shoot the ball. And I thought those two really, stepped up big time.
Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Geno, you mentioned the fatigue a little bit. How big is it now that you have some days off, you play a tournament, and having some more days off to sort of get ready for the March Madness, so to speak?
Well, every team is going to be dealing with this. Some teams are going to be dealing with it longer than others. Some teams are going to go to Mohegan, spend 1 or 2 days. They're going to be quarantining more than they're going to be playing. Then they're going home. And then other teams are going to be there for 4 or 5 days. So this week, you hope you can prepare to be there for 5 days and play 3 games. But then once you go there, you got to cut your brain out of your head and put it in a jar and put it on mush, and then sit in your room and stare at the walls. And then whichever group of kids can put their brain back in their head out of the jar and then go out and play for 2 hours, when they're released into the yard, making sure that, they get their sunlight that they need, and then we'll get back in. And those that can handle it the best, you know. And if you can do that this week, your reward is you go to Texas and you get to do it again. So normally you would say, can't wait to go to the NCAA tournament, man. We got all these plans. Can't wait to go to the Big East tournament. Got all these plans. Now, you're just going there hoping to survive day to day. Day to day.
If I can follow up, just how much of the mental aspect is that going to be a factor for the NCAA tournament? Because potentially you could be 3 weeks in San Antonio with hotel room, practice court, hotel room, arena, hotel room, as opposed to what you normally are used to.
That's right. That's right. You know, we talked about this. The teams, the kids that are best able to handle that kind of lifestyle are going to be hopefully able to play their best basketball during those 3 weeks. But to be honest with you, some teams are not going to handle it well. Some kids are not going to handle it well. Some coaches are not going to handle it well. And it's unfortunate, but that's where it is. But this isn't going to be an NCAA tournament that you can make any kind of predictions or make any kind of assumptions about how it's going to be. You know, you just cross your fingers, hope everything goes right, go through warm-ups, and after warm-ups, let's hope the game starts. And then when it starts, try to do the best you can and win and try to do it again. But this is by no stretch of the imagination is this going to be easy on anybody. On anybody.
Thanks,
But
Coach.
the alternative is get knocked out early or don't get invited to the NCAA tournament. Then you don't have to worry about it. You know? Then you can find your own room to get locked up in and do your own thing.
Go back to Carl.
Geno, how would you assess a 21-1 regular season for this team?
Well, in spite of everything that we just talked about, we figured out a way to win a championship, which, you know, I asked some of the freshmen, you know, how many of you guys won in college? And, you know, obviously the answer is no. So this is number one for them. Hopefully one of many. But, you know, they missed out on a lot of things, but they didn't miss out on a chance to win a championship. And that still means something. The record itself, you know, 22-1, and could have been 17-1, you know, whatever. Doesn't matter. What matters is, you know, we played in the Big East and we won a Big East championship. And that's something to be proud of. Even more so maybe because of the circumstances.
Where would you say the most growth has been since the UMass Lowell game in December, the last 2.5 months?
Right around my C3 vertebrae right here, there's been a growth back there that it's been bothering me. I'm trying to do rehab on it, but it's not working. Our freshmen probably have taken leaps and bounds from where they were in October and November. So I would say that's, you know, that for me has been the most rewarding thing, is that, you know, for them, they've made tremendous progress individually, first of all, and in their contributions to the team and in learning how to play college basketball. You know, sometimes it never happens, you know, with young kids like that. Sometimes it happens the year after, but you know, I'm pretty proud of them individually and as a group.
Geno, Page had 4 points after halftime. What did they do to contain her, and what are other teams going to learn from this, and what have you told the other players about when she's not scoring, what has to happen?
Well, Paige was 6 for 17. So they didn't contain her from getting shots. They just contained her from making them. And I would venture to say that most of that came from Paige. So as long as Paige is getting shots, I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. Now, having said that, we can't go into every game needing 30 from Paige to win. All right, we can't. I don't know that that's possible. So, yeah, we need other players. We need our perimeter players to step up and make their share of plays, make their share of shots, to enhance whatever it is that Paige is doing. There's a reason we only had 12 assists tonight. We normally get 20 something. It's the ball wasn't moving great, and guys were a little bit reluctant to shoot the ball when they were open, and we'll have to figure out how to help her. But what Aaliyah and Olivia did, that's the next best thing to making a lot of shots. Rebound the ones that don't go in.